So the concept I wanted to share with you today is what I call competing priorities. Competing priorities are um, just talking about the fact that there are times where we want more than one thing at one time. We need two things, five things, but we only have money for one thing. We want to do something and we can't figure out how to make it happen. We are kind of stuck in this place where there are things that seem to be of equal importance that we have to deal with, and we're just not sure how to do that. I call those competing priorities. And a lot of times when we have those competing priorities, at least on a financial level, it feels like a crisis. And it can be. Sometimes it is a crisis. And we get kind of paralyzed sometimes. We kind of shut down. We feel this kind of, I call it a heavy limbed frozen feeling. That's how I often journaled about it. That's how it felt in my body, like a heavy limbed frozen feeling. Like, how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to move forward? How am I going to figure out how to get to where I need to go? A lot of times when you're in that kind of space of competing priorities, there is this, at least for me, I experienced a kind of tendency to retract, constrict, shut down, and feel stuck, feel like I couldn't move, almost a little bit numb. And so what I learned through going through my own process, which I talk a lot about and hope to share more about with you, is that a feeling or an experience of having competing priorities is actually an invitation. It's an invitation to think differently. It's an invitation to push back a little. It's an invitation to ask yourself questions. It's an invitation to put on your problem-solving hat and figure out some other ways of dealing with the challenge ahead of you. Now, it's not an easy process, but the first shift is going from thinking, oh, I'm in a crisis, oh, I don't know what to do, oh, I'm stuck, and realizing, oh, this situation is happening as an invitation to explore some other possibilities. Just that first shift is a big one. So one of the things I used to do was I used to have a thing I needed, not have the money. The first thing I would do is spend down to all, use whatever available cash I had, spend back down to $100, $25, $7, whatever it was. And then the next thing I do would be to move on to the debt, available resources for borrowing. And I would start to reaccumulate and reaccrue debt. I'd start to add to that mountain of debt a little bit, whether it was credit cards, whether it was, drawing money out of my house. And those were my go-to ways of handling crises. Now, that's pretty normal. A lot of people do that, but it does create a kind of sickening hamster wheel of lack and not having. And there was a point where I decided to stop doing that. So the first thing I did was to stop doing that. But then what I found was the crises wouldn't go away. I still had these needs that would pop up. The difference was that because I took my savings off the table and because I took debt off the table, I had to ask myself, what is this? What is this crisis made of? How do I navigate this crisis? Some things came up for me, which I write about in detail in the book. I write about the conversation that I began to have with myself. Is this a crisis that repeats fairly regularly? That was one of the questions I asked, not in a blaming way, not like, but more like, like what Gay Hendricks Dr. Gay Hendricks, who's one of my favorite authors of all time. I write about this in the book too, that he wrote this book called The Big Leap. That was really instrumental for me while I was figuring all this stuff out. The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. He talks about asking wonder questions, where he goes, So before asking the question, he goes, And that changes it from being a kind of blamey, angry, self-abusing question to being a question that's anchored in a space of curiosity. So I asked myself, is this a repeating crisis? Is this a repeating pattern? I asked myself, now that debt is off the table and savings are off the table, what else can I do? Do I have to make a phone call? Do I have to put off something that I've been wanting to do? Do I have to have an uncomfortable conversation with someone about something that I said I could do socially that I really don't have the money to do, and I'm a little embarrassed about that? Do I have to put off buying something that I want? Is there something that I need to do that would pull me towards solving this problem without using my savings? Next time, I want to talk to you about my other discovery in my next video, and that is the fact that it's not about saving for a rainy day. Savings is cartilage. Savings is like cartilage in your financial body. That was a big discovery for me, and I've not heard anyone else discuss it that way or talk about it that way. That was something that came to me in my exploration of this topic. Savings is like cartilage in your financial body, meaning if you don't have it, you'll have this kind of bone-on-bone crisis. You'll be set up for this kind of, basically for injury. It's not about saving to spend at a later time. It's about having a cushion all the time. So I'll talk a little bit more about that next time. You can follow me on Instagram. I share little pep talks and thoughts about saving, staying motivated on your financial journey. You can also visit my website, trustyourselfwithmoney.com. And again, my book is called Trust Yourself with Money, and the subtitle is Build Financial Confidence Through the Simple Art of Saving. Thanks so much for spending this time with me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.